As you saw earlier this week, I had an interview with Chloe Ellis, leadership candidate for the BC Conservatives. Well, there's a lot of choice going into the next leadership convention for the BC Conservatives. There are 3 other candidates, and I'm very pleased to be joined right now with one of them, Conrad Pimiskern. Conrad, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for leadership of the BC Conservative Party.
Well, born and raised in Horseshoe Bay, and moved up to Kelowna with my family in 2000. Did my education in the States, played football and scholarship down there at Washington State University. I've been a financial advisor for over 20 years now, and I spent a lot of time with individuals, families, helping them figure out their money and their dreams and their goals. And in this, I've never been a politician before, but I decided to throw my hat in the ring because I really think this is a time where we need leadership, not just in this party, but in the province, in the country for that matter. But more importantly, my heart's with British Columbia. And I really want to see true leadership happening. I'm tired of the followship. I'm tired of the politics. So I'm not a politician.
All right, so tell us a little bit maybe about some of your plans for the BC Conservative Party. I know that the party has some very interesting platform positions, including axing the carbon tax and possibly not running against in ridings where there'll be a vote split. But anything else you could add to what we've heard already?
Well, you're getting ahead of me, because right now the main focus is in earning the leadership of the party. I'm really focused in communicating with the members. I've been reaching out to them on a regular basis. I've been having a lot of discussions with people one-on-one and via email, also with Skype. And what I'm hearing back is they're hungry for leadership. They want somebody who's not a politician. They want somebody who's prepared to grab the reins and really make this party work. And it's a good fit for me.
All right, so tell us, I know I saw one of your YouTube videos where you addressed the BC Liberals' new 15% foreign buyers tax, and why don't you give us just a little bit an overview of your position on that, and then maybe we'll discuss a little further.
It's complicated. What it gets right down to is there's a bit of politics in here, and there's a lot of money in this. You've got a tremendous number of indiscriminate buyers coming into the Lower Mainland. They're getting their money out of China, and it has more to do with getting their money out than actually putting it here. The problem is that we now have not just onesie-twosie buyers, but we have people buying into whole developments. That has driven up the price of the raw land to the point where it's getting less profitable for developers here in the Lower Mainland to make money with their developments. Average Chinese investor, when they're looking at investing in something safe like real estate, if they can make a 10% rate of return on their money, they'd be thrilled. Well, you jack on an extra 15 points, now you've got to get 25 points in return for that investor to make it worth their while. It cools the real estate market. And I don't mean the retail end, I mean the wholesale end, which gives an opportunity for the developers who are the big supporters of the BC Liberals to be able to get positioned better and make more profit with their developments.
You're absolutely right. It is complicated. But what do you think about this theory? I have a theory that really this isn't a left-right issue anymore. It's become almost a generational issue. I'm a millennial. Most people my age can't afford to get into the market without some help, maybe from their parents or something like that. Whereas, people my parents' age, for instance, who, or sort of the older generation, certainly has made tremendous returns as the real estate market has spiked. So I don't really see it as that. I see it as a generational issue. But what can we do to make sure that we aren't pricing out young people who are just trying to enter the market? Is it purely an issue of supply, or is there some sort of protectionist measure that is needed to stop these sorts of this sort of speculatory or investor class immigrant for all intents and purposes from coming here and jacking up our real estate prices?
So the simple answer is no. The real issue is that we've created a province that is run like a casino. Okay, we don't create jobs that generate enough revenue for people to afford to buy a home. We've shipped a lot of jobs overseas through the various taxes and treaties we've signed on to, and that money just happens to be coming back now because the game is winding up in China. They want to get their money out, and they're coming back here with the money we sent them to buy our property. Now, I don't have a problem with that, frankly. What I do have a problem with is we have not created enough real jobs for our young people to get a grub stake, okay? And the other side of the coin is you see the older population, the retirees, if you will, I see more retired people going into retirement with debt because they're lending money to a family member, a son or a daughter or a grandson helping out here or there, or they just don't have enough saved up, or the cost of living is so high because we have all these hidden taxes that are built into our system on day-to-day expenses that they just can't afford it. And it scares the heck out of me. I've been a financial advisor for over 20 years, and I'm seeing all these ads on TV at the time in the morning when the old people are up for reverse mortgages, chip home equity loans, all kinds of things. And people are eating away at their equity in their homes just to pay for groceries. This is a really scary environment, and I would be a big proponent of taking advantage of this mad rush of money coming out of China and taking a real hard exploratory look at putting together an investor immigration program.
Actually, I'm glad you raised that, because I talked to Richard Curlin last week, who actually suggested the exact same thing, that BC mirrors what they're doing in Quebec. Should you win leadership of the party and perhaps maybe hold the balance of power in the legislature or even become the next premier, would you be looking to implement something like that?
I would definitely explore it. And I would explore on the basis that I would love to see these people come over to our country as immigrant investors to contribute to growing British Columbia's economy, providing jobs for people here, paying taxes, these people paying taxes here, and being part of that system. And I'd rather have them come in now when they're able to get their money out of China than later when they're not able to get their money out of China and they're coming over as refugees.
All right, so we've talked a lot there, and I actually am really pleased to hear you talk about the development of good jobs here in Vancouver. As people may know, Vancouver has the lowest average wage of any major city in Canada, despite having the highest cost of living. So what is the solution? Is corporate welfare for a tech sector the solution? I don't think so. I was hopeful that the LNG sector may set up head offices here in Vancouver, but that appears to be a bust. What would kind of your plan be to sort of revitalize maybe downtown Vancouver as a business hub with some corporate investment, frankly?
Well, I think what we need first and foremost is leadership, real leadership, not this fellowship stuff where you follow the donors' money around. I look back, you look at W.C. Bennett and Flying Phil Ghilardi back in the old days. Those were people who actually built this province and made it what it is today, gave it the infrastructure. I would look for that kind of development. I don't want to pick winners or losers. I mean, that's a losing game from the get-go. Yeah. But I would definitely incentivize people to come in this province and invest.
Conrad, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.